I want to talk about like present day, what you do now. And what I first want to touch on is just like your workout routine. What type of workouts do you do? I know that you said like strength training 4 to 5 times a week, 45 minutes, but like what's a normal workout week look like for you?
Yeah. I would tell you that there's a lot of data out there now that shows how important strength training is for longevity purposes. Peter T has a couple videos on it. Huberman has some good podcasts on it, but a lot of data shows how important strength training is. Number one, in my eyes, the number one thing is that our metabolisms don't slow down as we age, but we lose muscle mass. And because we lose that muscle mass, our metabolism slows down. So it's not, it doesn't have to be that way. And when we optimize hormone levels and we go to the gym and we strength train, we maintain that muscle mass, which drives a higher metabolism. So take a look at Sylvester Stallone. The guy looks amazing. He's 78 years old. Well, he's been strength training his entire life. I assume, he has a great group of doctors, so he's taking hormones. So obviously when he's in the gym, he's going to see really good results. And because he has that muscle mass, that's going to help drive metabolism. And so, there are also data studies that show that strength training, putting the body and bones under load, help from a bone density perspective. And so if we continue to strength train our bone structure, it makes sense, right? If we're not stressing the skeleton that supports us, then of course it's going to become weaker. And they realized when our astronauts are in space, they were losing bone density, and it's because they weren't under load, right? So NASA developed exercise programs when they're out in space long term to help keep that bone density. And so that's one of the positives of as we age, continuing to strength train. And then we all know, when you look at hip fractures for older people can be, in many cases like a death sentence that the people can't recover from. And so keeping the bones strong is really important as we age, because if we fall, we don't want to suffer one of those critical breaks. So, it's really simple. Old school, I like old school. Now fine, everyone, I think any workout is a good workout, but I'm just old school. I like old school sort of bodybuilding, strength training exercises, powerlifting, bench press, squats. I don't do so many deadlifts. I love pull-ups, one arm. I do military presses, but with one arm, alternating. I do a lot of functional training. So other than bench press, I think everything that I do is impacting multiple muscle groups. So for example, when I do military press, I do standing military press, one arm at a time. And so you obviously have to have your core engaged. And so once my uncle gave me this great book, God rest his soul, Uncle Bill, always thinking about you. He gave me this book a long time ago, and it was about functional powerlifting and strength training, and just gave a great example of when, because we have these military machines, shoulder press machines where you have a back support. When are you ever in life going to have back support when you're pushing something over your head? Never.
Yeah, when you're throwing your like suitcase up above the
Exactly. That's when people get injured, because they're not training how they live.
Yeah.
And so, doing stuff like that, or standing curls one arm at a time, these are things I do. Or I do cable rows one arm at a time, standing, not sitting. So you have to have your whole body engaged. So it's a combination of like old school bodybuilding and then, sort of functional training and hitting multiple muscle groups, and nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like from a maintenance standpoint, if I do 4 workouts a week, I'm basically maintaining. And then if I get 5 in, I'm probably gaining a little bit. And if I get 6 in, it's probably a little overtraining, but I feel like, I'm getting a little bit better shape when I make the effort to do 6 days a week. But I think 5 is really good. And then maybe throw in a day of stretching, and then always walking 10,000 steps a day. I'm on right now, I think like close to 100 days in a row of 10,000 steps a day.
Congratulations.
So yeah, every once in a while, something comes up where you can't get your steps in, but I make that an effort because I think that it just shows like a commitment or energy level that you're active. That's what I would call it. It's a good activity level, getting 10,000 steps a day in. And what I love about walking, so everyone, there are a million videos on walking 10,000 steps a day and the positive health benefits. Everyone can walk for the most part. Of course, there are some people with certain limiting factors that can't, but in general, most people can walk. Even in Miami, it gets really hot out. You could always go to a mall. You can always, find a treadmill. So, go watch a podcast, go watch a TV show, go do anything.
Like, literally, you can clean your place and you're actively walking around.
Two things at once.
So many things you can do to get steps.
So yeah, it's just a simple philosophy, which is, like I said, 4 to 5 days a week, 45 to 60 minutes. And, I've had a really busy, stressful life for the last 2 years. And I have to work at all hours, work out. A lot of times I'm working out 10, 30, 11 o'clock at night. And when I'm going through those tough times, but I'm still getting my workouts in, I just think that anyone can do it if they have the resolve. And then I'm fortunate because I have optimized hormone levels. So I have really good energy levels, which, affords me a luxury. So anyone who's suffering from low energy should think about getting their hormone levels checked.
Definitely. So when it comes to the workouts, 4 to 5 days a week and just old school weightlifting does the job.
You got it for me. I mean, I've been doing this for my entire life. And, now in certain instances, I'm about as strong as I've ever been. So, it's not that I'm lifting to set any type of powerlifting records, but it's nice at the age of 54 to be towards the peak of where you were strength wise.
Yeah, that's great. So let's say we've got someone who's never worked out before, has no clue what they're doing. What is it that you would suggest to them? Is it just to also work out 4 to 5 times a week, lift weights, and start with what you can and work your way up?
Yeah. Well, I would say consider getting not everyone can afford a trainer. So obviously that's a limiting factor for some people. I would say to consider getting a personal trainer for about 10 sessions to teach you the basics.
Yeah.
And then, once you get the basics down and know what you're doing so you don't injure yourself, that's pretty good. If you can afford it, continue on with the trainer or see the trainer once a month, to make sure that you're continuing to do things the right way. But, making sure that you have proper form, that you're doing the right thing, because so many people that I see going to the gym, I feel bad for them. But I don't want to be rude, but they're just wasting their time because they're just not, they're spending the time in there, but they're not changing body wise. They're not really working hard and they're doing the wrong type of exercises. So a trainer's a good idea. You could always watch a video.
I was thinking, there's one guy specifically I'm thinking of that's on YouTube that he can really, really teach you form. He's always in his gym. Athlete
Next is a good guy.
He can really show you proper form, and I think from personal experience, form makes all the difference when it comes to seeing gains.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, there's so much now there's so much information out there that there's very rarely an excuse that someone not strength training. I will say that some data studies suggest that you get the best results when you lift heavier weights in general. You build more muscle, but you can build close to the same amount of muscle doing lower weight and high reps. The key is not stopping short of the reps. And so I think that that's where some people fall down and don't see as good results because they quit, 2 to 3 reps or 4 reps. And I'll tell you, here's a good example. So I'll give a shout out to, I think it's Manning at Legacy Fitness. He owns a gym now. But about 20 years ago, I tried to help my mom strength train. She did not want to listen to her son. Mom, you know this. If you watch this video, you didn't want to listen to me. So for Mother's Day, I got her 10 sessions with Manning. Now it's amazing because the guy has grown into a business owner and has multiple locations. And, you know, because my mom she wasn't doing the right weight. She wasn't taking it to failure. And so Manning really helped her understand that. And then she came back and she sort of said, and she'll admit this also, she said, you were right. I wasn't doing everything the right way. So anyway, yeah, there's the advantage or the benefit of training with someone who really knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And this will be the